next holiday party, or you don't even have to have people over. Here's a fun and festive beverage, perfect for fall. Here to show us how to make mulled wine from Poco Wine Spirits. Please welcome Eli Bezner. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
How are
good
you
to have
doing?
you. Thanks for having me
So
on.
this has smelled so good all morning.
Yeah.
What is a mulled wine for the uninitiated?
So mulled wine dates back centuries and centuries ago. The ancient Greeks and the Romans all had their variations. It's kind of expanded through Europe over a couple hundred years. It's just a way of taking less palatable wine and making it better.
Right.
The Romans would heat up wine to help fight off sickness. So
That's what they said.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we still say.
It is.
But yeah, it's just, it's heated wine, you spice it up, you flavor
Right.
it with some sugar and some honey, and it tastes great, it smells great.
Now, does it have to be a red wine?
Well, the mulling process you can do with pretty much anything. Like hot cider is fantastic.
Yes.
Think of red mulled wine as like the sangria for wintertime.
Okay, yes, I will
yeah.
think of it that way.
Yes.
So now I see that there are other spirits. There's a whiskey over here.
Yeah.
So tell me how that goes into this whole thing.
Poco's mulled wine recipe calls for brandy, which is a little more traditional, but I'm a whiskey guy,
Me
and
too.
Ula is
Well,
a
I'm
local.
not a guy, but I like Go ahead.
Ula is a local whiskey in Seattle,
Right.
and I love whiskey and mulled wine. It changes the flavor ever, so slightly, but not too much that it's a totally different drink.
So we could start out with Poco's recipe and then just play, right? Whatever
exactly.
it is that you like. So what are we making today? Is it the Poco's?
Yes, this is Poco's mulled wine recipe.
Okay, we can't get mulled wine at Poco's. We can just get all the ingredients.
Yeah,
that
special
we
events
need.
I can whip up batches of mulled wine.
Woohoo. All right,
so
let's
we
call
have
today a special event.
Right. Our spices, we have some black peppercorns here,
Okay.
Cloves, some star anise, and cardamom pods.
Oh, interesting.
Cinnamon sticks, and then I just pre-batched a little tea bag
Yep.
right there with all those flavors. We have our lemon peels and our orange peels, sugar, water, honey is over here, and then I
You
have
are
our
ready to
wine
go.
all set to go, yeah.
Is it cheesecloth that you have this
It is,
in? And
yes.
it's just twine, so
Yeah.
you probably have this already at home. It's no big deal, nothing fancy. You just put everything in there and
Yep, and I leave
spin it around.
enough string so you can kind of take it out like a tea
Fish
bag
it out,
and
okay.
toss it away.
Very good. So what have we got going on over here?
So this is the mulled wine that we'll be drinking in a minute.
Yes.
But you want to start. You get your pan or saucepan, whatever you have laying around at home, and you want to take 2 cups of water.
Okay.
You pour that in, and then you take your pre-made little spice tea bag over here, and you're going to want to rest that in. Bring the water to a boil and let that sit for about 1.5 to 2 minutes, and then
Okay.
immediately bring it down to a very light simmer. And that's when you take your lemon peels, kind of throw those in.
Pop them in. You've got nice wide pieces, so you get a lot of
Yeah, you want to
flavor.
do 1 whole lemon, all the peel off of that, and then 1 whole orange, all the peel
Except
off of that. Except one.
I stole 1 piece to go in my hot cocoa a minute ago, which was delicious.
It still
also.
works.
Yes.
So yeah, you let that sit, and I say on my recipe we do about 15 minutes just to kind of mix everything into that water, basically creating like a tea, and then you want to take everything out. But honestly, as long as it's on a low enough simmer and it's not all boiling off, you can have that on the stove for 2 hours, and it's going to make your house smell fantastic.
I know, and it stays. That is just a beautiful flavor that is a scent that stays in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what happens
So yeah,
next?
then after that's all infused, you can take out your ingredients here. I'm just going to reach into the hot pan.
Oops, careful. You okay?
Oh, it's not actually on, so we're
Oh,
good.
I was worried about your fingers. You did a good job of selling it. Oh, so hard.
Oh man. So yeah, then you're
I'm
going to take
gonna
that
need
out.
treatment after this.
And you want to, so in this pan here, I have our full bottle, 750 milliliters of red wine.
Okay.
Preferably something dark and full-bodied, maybe like a Merlot or
Merlot,
Cabernet
yeah.
Sauvignon blend.
I'm so right with
right?
you. Okay.
And the trick is nothing expensive. You want cheap wine. And then you just pour in your
the
tea.
news just gets better, right?
Right.
Through the whole thing. So you pour all that in
So
there,
you
and
pour it
here
all
comes
in.
your flavors and the
Yeah.
water.
And that's, so that's the water being added to the wine, and that's all of our spices and our aromas, the citric acid and essential oils from the citrus. And then you want to take, forgot to mention, we have 2 ounces of fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Oh.
And you want to add that on.
Yummy. So
And
it is
then-
like a hot sangria in a lot
Yeah,
of
exactly.
ways.
And then 3 ounces of the orange juice, and you can add that in.
Yum.
And this, again, very important. You don't want to boil the wine, because that'll boil off some of the alcohol, which is very important. So that's on a nice light simmer, and we're going to add our turbinado sugar. You can use any sugar you have lying around at home. I
Okay.
prefer turbinado because it has more of a rich flavor. Pairs nicely with that darker wine.
Right.
You kind of pour that in. That's about 1.5 cups there. And then you just want to do a slow stir for about 5 minutes. And you want to integrate all that sugar, get it nice and emulsified in the wine. And then once that
Stirring
is
continuously,
stirring continuously.
slowly.
And then you take your 2 ounces of honey, and you're going to add that in. And
so
make sure you get
this is
every
basically
last
a
drop.
health drink now.
Yes,
because
exactly.
it's-
Yeah. We're not drinking to drink. We're drinking
No,
for health.
of course
Yeah.
not. Organic, local honey will help you with your allergies and
That's
so
right.
much more.
So yeah, you want to get all those sweeteners in there. And then you can let that sit, again, on the stove for as long as you would like. I like to do anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour.
Okay. And once
as long
you've
as you're not boiling it and it's all
Great.
stirred in and it's all, you know,
So you've
good to go.
stirred the sugars in.
Yep.
At that point, it can just sit there.
And that can just sit there.
Okay,
yeah.
very good.
So
So it's kind of cloudy right now, and then it
Yeah.
gets clearer as it cooks down a little bit?
yeah, so it's boiling here and the sugars are kind of, you know, mixing in. And then once it's settled, it's not cloudy or
Okay,
anything.
and then you've served it over here. It looks delicious with orange and cloves,
Yeah,
so just
and
go
I
to
hope
town with that.
This is warm enough, so we can.
Okay, we're gonna have a
I
quick
will
taste.
Give you a taste here.
Heidi, do I have enough seconds to taste? She says taste away. This is one of the many
So then-
reasons I love her. And she says bring her some, so we're making a second glass.
So
Thank
this
you so
then,
much.
you could add the whiskey after you serve it if you want to dump in a shot or two into your mulled wine, or if you have a punch bowl. You know,
That is delicious.
that's good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to start with your recipe and then play from there.
There you
Thank you
go.
so much. This is great. And another bonus for our audience, everybody gets a gift card to Poco Wine and Spirits. So you can go there and get your ingredients and go for it. Thank you, Eli. All right, up next, yet another special surprise for our studio audience. We'll be right back. That's